All right. So, hello. My name is Max. I'm going to be quickly running through another kind of tutorial of Adalo. I've done some in the past, filming this one specifically to teach you how to build platforms on Adalo, because that's one of the most common questions I get asked. And generally it's applicable for a whole lot of things. So we're going to be building a general app, and you'll get a kind of a really nice understanding of how Adalo functions, but also we're going to be building a two-sided platform, right? That's the biggest thing, a two-sided platform. So let's say you have like teachers and students, or tutors and employers, right, that are hiring the tutors. Anything like that, you can make it three-sided if you wanted, but I'm going to just do like a basic two-sided platform. Show you how to input data, how to list items, all sorts of crazy things. It's really flexible. Just the basic kind of structure of a platform, a two-sided platform, is really flexible. So yeah, think of like Airbnb as a platform, YouTube as a two-sided platform. There's tons of stuff. But let's get into it. So first, you're going to go to adalo.com, adalo.com. I'm going to log in. You're going to make an account. You should be able to do everything that I'm going to show you here on the free account. This is something that my friend is building. I'm going to create a new app. I'm going to do a desktop web app. You can do a mobile app as well if you want to. And I'm going to start from blank. You can use one of these templates. Like chat template is really good. Ordering template is really solid. The directory template is also quite nice. But yeah, the chat app is actually really nice. It's probably one of the best templates just because it lets you include chat functionality automatically. So if you wanted to start with chat functionality, if that was important to your platform or your app or whatever, I would recommend starting with this template, but I'm just going to start from blank because since we don't want to build chat or anything like that, this is going to be platform test. Master team, primary color, looks good, create. So it's going to start me off with a few basic pages. So you can hit control. You can hold down control. I'm on Windows, so it might be different on Mac. But you can hold down control and then zoom in with the mouse wheel, and it gives you, it lets you zoom in. You can also zoom all the way out if you zoom out, and then zoom back in on something else. And I'm going to be doing that a lot. You can also just use the arrow keys if you click outside one of the main screens. But it gives me a series of screens here, right? This is what it gives me. We have the welcome screen. Everybody sees that. We have the login screen when they click the already have an account button. We have a sign up screen when they click the sign up button, right? And then we have a home screen, which is where the stuff is going to happen, the magic is going to happen, but there's nothing there right now. But these are the four screens that it usually starts you with: a welcome screen, a login screen, sign up screen, and a home screen. And then you can make infinitely more beyond that, but this is what it starts us with, right? Now, here's how you add elements. You're going to go to this top left little icon up here, the plus button, and you're going to click the plus button, and then it's going to give you a ton of different things. And most used is where you're mostly going to be sitting, just because like these 6 little elements are basically most of what you're going to be using. But if you want different buttons, if you want something else, like rectangles, vectors, lines, text, things like that, and then you can even go into the marketplace here and add things like a calendar or a map or a Google sign-in element or an image slider or whatever, right? There's tons of stuff. If you want to explore further in the component marketplace, you should, because it has a lot of additional things that help with login, helps with payment, helps with timing, all sorts of cool stuff. Now, let's start building some things. So first, let's name our app. I'm going to go to the app name. I'm going to double click into it, and it's going to give me this. I'm going to call it platform. I'm just going to call it platform. Keep it simple. Scroll over here. We'll also call this platform. Platform. Over platform. Awesome. Over here, this says home. Or if I can just rename this, I'm going to click. If you click the top left corner with the little name up there, it should let you rename the components. Yeah, you click up here, and then we'll say this is home screen. Sounds good. We'll call it home page, actually. Cool. So now we're all good. Let's start adding some elements. So the goal here is to make a two-sided platform, right? Which means that there are two different types of users, right? and that's where you get into the data element of Adalo. So we can add elements over here. We can change the branding over here. We can look at all the screens over here and move to them from that. That's actually quite nice. So we can go to screens, log in. You can control bits there. That's the screens element. We already know the branding. We can change colors and fonts and everything else. We can go to the screens. We were already scrolling around the screens. This is the database element. And this is the back end of Adalo, right? So all we have in terms of databases is users, which means that when somebody signs up via this sign up form, right, it creates a new piece of data, which is a user. Right? So we have a set of users, and currently of 0 records, but it collects the email, password, and full name, right? And there's also a username element here, but it doesn't look like we're using that right now because nobody's like actually signing that up. Maybe they could use that later, whatever. But these are the 4 elements that we have to collect for users: email, password, full name, and then username later. But that's what happens when people fill out that form. They go to the welcome page, right? They go to the welcome page, they click sign up, and then it leads them over to the sign up page, right? And if they already have an account, right, if they click already have an account, it goes to the login page where they would put in their email and their password, right? And that won't work because nobody's signed up yet, but let's go and test that. So I'm going to go click preview. Preview is just over in the top right corner. It's up here. Once you click preview, it opens and generates what the app that you currently have. So it starts us at the welcome page, right? I'm going to click sign up because I don't have an account, and I'm going to put in my maxmirho@gmail.com, password 12345, and full name maxmirho, right? Now I'm going to click sign up. Great. Now it puts me to the home screen. Awesome. But that's what we expected, right? Once they're finished with the sign up thing, once they click that sign up button on the welcome screen, they go to the sign up page, they put in some information, they click sign up, and it leads them to the home screen. Beautiful. But now in our database, we have 1 record, right? 1 record. And that was me, right? Just a second ago. So it collected that data, right? So the data from the user is input into the back end via something called a form. And that's what this is. This is a form element. And we can add our own form elements for all sorts of different stuff. But right now we only have 1 type of user, right? They sign up via this. So what we ideally would like to do is create 2 different types of users, right? So how can we do that? I'm going to go into that database. I'm going to go into that user collection, and I'm going to add a property. I'm going to make it a true or false property. So the true or false property is just a little selection, right? And we want to collect that when the user is signing up. So we'll say, let's say the platform is like let's say it's like a book platform or like a blogging platform, right? Are you a writer or a reader? Right? Writer or reader. So writer, we'll put true. Reader will be false. Right? Actually, I'll just call it F and T. I'm just putting that labeling there for myself. That has nothing to do with the actual app, but a writer would be true because this is a true or false element, and a reader would be false. So great, now we have a true or false element. So let's go back into this form and let's see if we can add that. Let's click into the form, go to fields, and let's add a visible field. Writer, true, reader, false. And we'll relabel that, are you a writer? Boom. And this field is not required. Great. So now we're also asking them, are you a writer? We just edited that form, so now it also asks if people are writers, right? Also, it did cover up the little text that we had at the bottom. So actually, I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to move it down a little bit more. Great, now everything works nicely. We had to reformat and redesign slightly. because we added some stuff, and the sign up button covered all of the already have an account button. Beautiful. Love it. Awesome, right? So now we're asking if they're a writer. And if they're not a writer, they must be a reader. So now we have a way for them to select their type of user, right? That's important. So now we have two types of users, technically. If they select, are you a writer? They're a writer. If they select, are you a reader? Or if they select, are you a writer? They're a writer. If they don't select it, they're a reader, right? Beautiful. Excellent. So now, let's go to our home screen and let's start customizing elements based on whether or not they are who they say they are, right? Because a two-sided platform, right? If you're, for this theoretical platform that we're building, if you're a writer, then you will see things differently than if you're a reader, right? A reader, for instance, would only see things that people have posted, right? So they can go and read things, right? Awesome. But a writer will maybe see other things that people have posted, but they'll also be able to create their own posts, right? So they can post. A writer can post, a reader just reads. That's the basic platform that we're trying to build, right? So we're giving them different abilities, and they see different things. So let's just build most of it on the primary home screen. But let's say we want to add a button, right? So I clicked up here, plus, click the button element, and then click here, right? So I can drag and move the button wherever I want it to. So now we have a button, and this button, I'm going to click into it, and I'm going to relabel it, create post, right? It's a little bit jammed, so I'm going to drag it out. Create post. Beautiful, right? So we'll customize what that button actually does a little bit later, but this button, you should only be able to see it if you're a writer, right? Because a reader wouldn't need to create a post. They're not a writer, right? So we're going to make this button hidden if you're a reader, right? Which means it's hidden if you ticked that false. If you tick that little "Are you a writer?" button false, right? So let's go up here into this little ... and we're going to click Change Visibility. It is not always visible. It is sometimes visible, and it will only be visible if the logged in user's writer true, reader false is true, right? If it's true, they're a writer, T. That's why I put the T there so I could remember that, right? So if it's true, they're a writer, and if they're a writer, they should see the create post button because we want them to be able to create a post because they write stuff, right? Beautiful. So only writers can see that. And actually, let's go test that. Let's go reload here. Actually, I'm going to fully reload the whole thing. Preview. It's going to put me in the home screen. I'm going to log back out. Oh, the logout button doesn't work. So actually, if you saw that, that's actually a good test. So we clicked the logout button on the top right, and it didn't work because the screen is missing, right? So I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to the right icon, which is a logout. It's going to log me out, and it's going to link to the welcome screen. Done. Awesome. So let's try that again. Okay, we're at the welcome screen. Beautiful. So sign up. I'm going to use max at unnamedagency.com. Actually, I'm just going to do max at max.com. I wish I owned max.com, but I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full name, Maxi, Max. Am I a writer? I am. I'm going to select that I am a writer. All right? I'm going to sign up. Let's see what we see. We should see that button. Boom. The button is there. Great. So we can see that. But if we go back, and I say I'm max at maxi.com, I'm going to select am I a writer? No. I'm going to sign up. And we shouldn't see, oh, I guess password is already full, so I'm going to do this. Sign up. Now I shouldn't see it at all. And I don't, right? So great. Now we know how to make elements that do or do not do, or show or don't show, depending on whether, like, what type of user our user is, right? Which is great. I'm going to click the logout button, and it leads me back. Beautiful. So, awesome. That's wonderful. So now let's actually show where posts are, right? I'm going to go to the lists section. A list, so a form, as you saw before, a form and field, is how you get data from the user into the back end of the app, right? When they sign up, they input information, and then the app stores that in the database section, right? Beautiful. And now there's 3 records, by the way, because I signed up with 2 other emails and also my original email. So now there's 3 different records, and we can go and we can see those, right? Beautiful. But forms are how we get data from people, right? But a list, we're going to go to lists. A list is how we display data, right? And really those are 2 of the main things. There's navigation, gathering data, and displaying data. I'll show you how to navigate in a second. You've already seen it with buttons, but I'll show you how to do it in a little bit. And you already know how to add like a form, so we would just go to well, we'll add a form in a little bit, but displaying data, gathering data, navigation, those are the main things. I'm going to lists to display some data. I'm going to grab a custom list because I can fully customize a custom list, and I'm going to add it right here. I'm going to make it really big. Looks great. And actually, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to make it real big, these bits. So they're like blog posts. Awesome. So now I have a list, right? And it shows me stuff. What does it show me? Nothing right now. It just has title and subtitle. So we actually need to, this is data. This is displaying data. This list is displaying a series of data bits, right? That's super, super important because we need to go and create that data bit in the database. So right now all we have is users, but we need to have a second type of data called posts, right? So I'm going to go to add a collection. I'm going to create a new type of data called posts. I'm going to add, and there's going to be a few different little bits. It's going to be the name. Now it'll be title. So title would be the first bit. And then I want more text, and I want this to be post body. And then I want to add maybe a date and time. So date and time posted. Yeah, date and time posted. That sounds great. So we have the title, we have the post body, and the date and time posted. Great. Awesome. One other little quick thing that we need to add is we actually want these posts to be associated with users, right? So a user would make a post, and I think it would be nice to add users to this bit, right? So let's go to add property. Let's make a relationship to users. So a user can have multiple posts. What type of data do we usually want? Usually it's going to be this, but you can use other versions. A user can have multiple posts, but a post belongs to one user. That sounds right. A user makes posts, and they can have multiple. Beautiful, right? And so that's going to be tied to a specific user. Now we go back to user, it's connected to posts as well. So now we have a connection in between. A user is connected to a series of posts, and a post is connected to one user, right? Excellent. But now we need to tie this display of data, this list, to those posts, right? List of what? What is this? I click into the list, and it says, ask, what is this a list of? I'm going to select posts, right? Filter all posts. Let's filter all posts. That sounds great. Sorting. Let's say date and time posted, newest to oldest, right? Oh, created date, actually. So I think that's automatic. Yeah, we'll just do created date, newest to oldest, since that's an automatic thing. I'm actually going to go back into posts, and I'm going to delete this date and time posted. Because it's not important, since it already, we don't need it for sorting, right? Cool, awesome. Now we have posts. Now there's a list of posts, and now let's customize the information in this list. So I'm going to double click into the title, and now we have the title here. And now I'm actually going to tie this to data in the database, right? So I clicked into this, I deleted the text, whatever, you can put text here, so maybe we can say like title, colon, and then we'll add magic text, which ties it to the actual database that we created. So add magic text, current posts, title, right? So the title is the title. And then we'll double click into the subtitle and we'll say, we'll just delete all of that and we'll just add the current post's post body, right? Sweet. So now that's actually all good and fine. If we input some data into that, it should work, but we don't have a way to input data into the posts yet, right? We have our form over here for the sign-up form to create a user. We don't have a form to create any posts yet, but at least once we're ready, the posts are here, right? They'll show up here when they're ready. Beautiful. So let's create a way for people to make posts, right? And also, do we want to display this in any weird way? Do we want to change the visibility? This theoretically should be always visible, right? Because we want the writers to see it, and we also want the readers to see it. So everybody should see this. So it's good. Sounds fine. Everything's fine. So let's do something with this create a post button, right? This is only visible to the writers, but when they click it, they should be able to go and create a post, right? And the only way to create data in Adalo is via a form. So we need to add a form somewhere, right? We could add it on this page, but I also want to show you how to create another page. So let's do that. So let's go click into the button, and then you're going to scroll to the bottom of the editing section, and you're going to go under click actions, and you're going to click add action, and you're going to link this to a new screen, right? And this new screen is going to be actually a form screen. Let's call it a form. Well, no, let's just do an app bar screen. Let's just do a simple app bar screen. And this will be creates a post, right? That's going to be the screen. There's a ton of different templates down here. You can totally scroll through them. Usually I use blank screen or app bar screen because the app bar screen has a back button that it automatically creates, if you'll see here. So it created this screen over here. It's called the create a post screen. It has a back button, and the back button goes back, and it's really convenient. So I like it. But you can do whatever you want. But cool, now we have a create a post page, and we need to add a form here that allows the users to create their post. So I'm going to go to most used. Most used is fine. Well, actually, no. Let's go to forms. Forms and fields. I'm going to grab a form. I'm going to pop it in the center. It's going to say which data collection, like it asked for the list. I'm going to say posts, right? And then fields, does it ask anything else? It says set automatically, the user is the logged in user, which is awesome. So we tied user, if we remember in the little database collection, right? The posts have an associated user, but we don't even have to put that in because in the field section, it said it sets it automatically with the logged in user, which is great. So if you're logged in to the app, you make a post and it automatically ties it to your user. Everything happens automatically. Beautiful. Love it. We have the title and the post body. Those are the two things that we need, right? Sounds great. Sounds good to me. When we click the submit button, we want it to create a post. So it already creates a post. That's beautiful. It automatically does that. But we also want it to jump them back to the home screen, right? Because once they're done with that post, they're done, right? Whatever. Let's bring them back to the home screen. So I'm going to click add another action, link to homepage, right? It's going to push. So that should work. That should work really fine. That should work beautifully. And then it will create a post and it will display here. Love it, right? That's excellent. So let's go test it. Sometimes Adalo has some trouble updating pretty quickly, but it looks like it's doing fine today, which is good. So I already have an account. I'm going to go to max@maxi.com. Password was 123456. Log in. Excellent. I believe this was my writer account, right? Was it? The button isn't showing up, so it might not be my writer account. I don't think it was my writer account. So I'm actually going to log out. I'm going to sign up for a new one because I don't remember it. max@whatever.com. Password is going 1234567. Full name will be Maxi. I am a writer because I want to write something and I'm going to sign up. Cool. So the create a post button is there because I'm a writer. Awesome. Nothing here. Nothing is being shown here. The list that we created isn't shown here because there's nothing in it right now. But let's go create a post. So I'm going to click create a post and it's going to push me to the create a post screen just like we wanted. Now I'm going to add a title and we'll say like what kind of dramatic thing? So like it was a dark and stormy night. dark and stormy night, dot, dot, dot. And the post body will be, lorem ipsum, some dramatic text here you don't even wanna know. I am spooky and dark. Ooh, horror novel. Horror novel stuff. Yay. Awesome. Create the post, right? Gonna create the post and it should push me back, right? Huzzah! Look at that. So it's already showing me this little bit of information, right? Because it's displayed here. The title is, it was a dark and stormy night, and the text is lorem ipsum, dramatic text, etc., blah, 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 right? We can change the design of this if we want, but I can go back and I can create another post, so I'll say, create post, and then it should put it above, right? Because it's the newest to oldest, right? Excellent. Super excellent. Maybe we could even add something like a little bit of text down here. So I'm going to drag some text into here, and I'm going to put this, and I'm going to say logged in, or no, current posts users username, not username. We don't actually have them customize their username. So I'm going to say current posts users full name, and we'll say written by, boom. Done. So now if we go back and we refresh, it should show us written by Maxi. Hey, awesome. So cool. Now I even have my person there, right? Now I know who created those things. And if different people create them, it'll put their names there. Awesome. Looks beautiful, right? Maybe I could even create a section for just my posts. I can move this over and I could create another little list over here for just my posts. Maybe I could do a whole bunch of stuff here, right? But now the writers can see this. The writers can see this and they can create their own posts, and the readers can just see this, right? Excellent. Sounds great. So that's the super basics of it. If you want anybody to create information, right, in the app and put something on the app, you have to give them a form. And when they put that information into the form, it will go to the database. You also have to create a database collection of the data you need to collect, right? Once that is done, you can display that data with lists or just in little bits. It doesn't even have to be in a list. So for instance, I could add text here and I could say logged in as colon, and I'll say the logged in users full name, right? So now when I go back to here, it'll show that I am logged in as Maxi, right? So you can customize data wherever you want, but you can customize like post specific data. You can customize user data basically anywhere you want, and you can customize like post data within lists, right? That's super important. And then you can navigate by clicking into something, scrolling to the bottom, and clicking add another action. Those are the basics. I'm going to show you one more thing. And then we're more or less done, right? So let's say that you want to create a whole page of information from your database, right? Let's say you're going to create a whole page. So not just a little block here, right? But an entire page. Let's go into here. Let's click this block, right? Let's click onto this block and let's click add an action. It's going to link to a new screen. And this screen, I'm going to call it another app bar screen. This is going to be post detail screen, right? Going to create the screen. Now let's see where that went. It went all the way over here. I'm actually just going to drag this underneath the home page so it's nice and close by, easy to get to. And you can drag by just dragging from the top left under the little title bits. But now, because you navigated to this page from clicking on a list element, which is tied to a bit of data, right? You can actually display data here from that specific list element. So if you remember before, right, when I clicked into here in this add magic text bit, the only thing we could add was a logged in user bit, right? And then date and time, users, posts, things like that in terms of like count and general information. But the direct information we could only get was from the logged in user because that was really all we knew, right? That was all the Adalo knew about on this page. But if you click into one of these bits, if you click into this, which is part of a list of posts, Adalo suddenly knows that, oh, it's passing information here about the post. So if I click into here and I link, it says that send this data to post detail screen, current post. So it's not only does it now have information on that screen about the user and everything else, but it has information about the current post that I clicked. So this current post, right? This current post, for instance, title st whatever AGHJ, it knows all of this stuff now on this next page. So if I go down here and I add some text, right? Now I'll be able to access the current post bit, right? Just like we were able to in each little bits, right? Just like we were able to in here, post title, right? Current posts information. We can access the current posts, access and display the current posts information in this little block, but now we created a whole page where the data was passed to, so we can actually access it here on this whole page as well, right? So let's say I'm going to make this really, really big, and I'm going to make this a whole big title thing. I'm going to make it 32. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to center it. I'm going to say, I'm going to make this, delete all this, and I'm going to make this the current post's title, right? I'm going to stretch it out really big so it has plenty of room. Then I'm going to duplicate this, Control V, Control C, Control V. I'm going to make this a lot smaller. I'll make it 12. I'll make it a line left. I'll make it 14. A little bit bigger. And this isn't going to be the post title. This is going to be the current post's post body. All right. Actually, I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to duplicate this as well. I'm actually going to add the time as well. So this one is going to be the current post's created date. So now it'll show the created date. And I should also show the user as well. So I'll do this, copy, paste up here, post created date. I'll put the current post's user's full name, and I'll say written by full name, right? And then we have the created date, and we'll say maybe at created by full name at blank, right? At the created date, and then we have the post body. Great. That should be good. Maybe we can also add something like bold text here, right? So it's bold. And then that should be it, right? We have a back screen. Everything's good. Let's go and preview it again. Let's see if everything, all of our changes have gone well. So now we have a whole screen for every single post, right? That's pretty huge. So we're logged in as Maxi. Great. I'm going to click on It Was a Dark and Stormy Night. Click here, and it navigates me here. It was a dark and stormy night, written by Maxi at 7 minutes ago. Lorem ipsum dramatic stuff, etc. Right? So now all my information is actually displayed here. And I can go back, and I can go back to this main page, and I can click into this, and it's a whole different page. But now we can display all that information on one main page, right? So not only can you have a list, but you can have details about each of those little elements. Maybe these are just the previews, right? Maybe I just show the title and I don't even show who it was written by. But I can jam more of them in this little list here, and then when they click, the reader or the writer can learn more once they're on this page, right? 8 minutes ago, it automatically updates. That's super nice. So now we can do basically all the basics of Adalo. Those are really, once you understand and fiddle with those, that's really more or less everything you can do with Adalo on the base platform. There's plenty of other stuff, but that's what you'll need to get started. So just to review, you navigate between pages by creating buttons or clicking on anything. You can add a click action to anything. It could be a text, it could be a button, it could be whatever. But you scroll to the bottom, you click add another action, and you link it to something else, right? You can even like delete certain items. You can create notifications. You can trigger custom actions. You can share elements. There's a ton of stuff you can do, right? You can even update different little elements, right? There's a lot you can do here, and I would suggest fiddling with that absolutely. You can change how data structures. You could add a little delete button to each of these little things. Tons of stuff you could do, right? But you create those actions, and those happen by scrolling down and click add another action, and then there you go. And the main thing that you're going to be using that for is linking to new screens, right? And to different places. You can collect data by creating a form, and you can change how that form looks and how it functions by going to the field section and adding a visible field or adding whatever else, right? Or deleting different little elements. The submit button behaves like a normal button, right? You can add your own little actions and everything else like that. But this is how, with a form, we collect data from the user, right? You can input your own data. You can actually go to the database. You can go to posts. You can go to records, and you can add your own post, right? You can add your own information blank if you just need some information in there. But if you want users to add information, you have to use a form. So forms are for adding information. We can navigate. We can add information. If we want to display information, we can go and we use the magic text bit. And if we want to display information, a set of information, we use a list. And if we want to create a page with a specific bit of information from a specific database, we have to link it from a list, right? And whenever we're doing data, whenever we're creating data, whenever we're letting users input data, whenever we're displaying data, we need to make sure on the back end we have created a database to hold all that information in the right place, right? And that's more or less it. That is basically more or less it. And also just a side note, if you don't want users to log in or sign up or anything like that and you just want it to be public, you can just delete the login and sign up pages. You can delete the welcome page. Everything is totally deletable, customizable, from scratch, whatever you want. Yeah, rock on. And if you have any other questions, I know this is a decent tutorial, but if you have any other questions, feel free to email me at maxmirho@gmail.com. That is where you can find me. Awesome. Or you can hop on one of my live streams, or you can message me on social media. But this is more or less the entire shtick. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm excited for you to build some cool stuff. Yeehaw.